Ladies
They
and
pulled it
gentlemen,
up. Welcome back to the Nerd Bros podcast.
welcome back. It's exciting, bro. It's one of those things where, like, we did the first one, and it felt like you said, as we went, it flowed much better. Man, this is so much fun, dude. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
This is good stuff right here.
No, peep the Batman shirt and the Spider-Man shaker.
That's right. That's right. All right, chat is pulled up. I'm ready to rock, baby. I'm ready to rock. Ladies and gentlemen, how do we feel about the lighting? Is it better for mine? I feel like it looks a lot better, to be honest. Not way too much going on in the background lighting-wise, so I think it looks good anyway. Evans looks phenomenal as always.
I like it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. I like it a lot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, me too. Especially, like, how much you like the hat.
We're not going to talk about the hat tonight.
We're going to let it be known that Evan and I are pretty much now the new up-and-coming version of the Escape Pod, because I'm always wearing a hat. He's always a Spider-Man guy. I'm just saying.
This is true.
That's kind of our... Yeah, exactly. That's kind of our somewhat of a dream collab with other podcasters. So if you guys are watching this, we would love to have you guys on. Just going to throw that out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Definitely turn
Before we get into this tonight, there is an announcement. There is no other live streams this week on the Nerds of the Multiverse TikTok. I'm going on vacation, so I will not be back until next week's pod. So no live streams with me this week. And Trey may be live streaming Battlefront, though. So if he is,
that is true.
Stay tuned for that.
I may be live streaming Battlefront this week. I kind of need to get into trying to build my community as well as the one that we're building here. Like, just trying to get more Star Wars people involved into the channel. So, yeah, I think Battlefront is a good place to do that, especially when I really, really want Battlefront 3. I think that's a good place for me to start, to be honest.
I agree. Also, we have been somewhat looking into possibly investing in a brand new game. And it's a game like no other game that we've typically played. It's not a video game.
First, and I totally forgot what you were talking about, and I was like, "What?" Yes, he is correct.
It is a tabletop game. It is Marvel Crisis Protocol. Our boy Cam is
Popcorn and Pixels.
He's already painting his stuff. Popcorn and Pixels. Everybody go check out Popcorn and Pixels if you like pop culture. But we're going to be looking into possibly joining this game with him. So if so, there may be some content in the future as far as that goes. But the game looks sick.
And I will say, too, chat, because I know if you guys are here from my channel or from my stuff, you're here because of Star Wars. I'm going to do my best to get them into Shatterpoint. I'm going to throw that out there. That may be the one that I end up getting the main game, because with Marvel Crisis Protocol, I'm just going to get my own, set of figures that I want to use because I'm not going to host. But for Shatterpoint, I think I may end up getting to hosting that. So
Shatterpoint would be pretty cool.
Dude, the characters that you can get in Shatterpoint are insane. It is. Also, Shatterpoint and Marvel Crisis Protocol are made by the same company. So they're essentially the same game. What's up, HD?
I'm boycotting until we're back on the TikTok. Or Tickety-Talk. He is a mod on TikTok.
He is a mod on TikTok.
New promotion.
That is very accurate.
It wasn't well received by all.
Yeah. Yeah, we're a few minutes in. If you want to go ahead and we can.
Sure.
If you want to get right into Fantastic Four,
All right. So we are going to be giving our initial thoughts and kind of preview for Fantastic Four. It comes out this Friday, July 25th. We will not be seeing it this Friday because I'm out of town, so it is definitely my fault. But we will be seeing it next Tuesday. So we're going to give our preview, and we're going to start off by giving our initial thoughts of the trailer. What did you think of all the trailers that you've seen so far, Trey?
Okay, so I got a little bit I want to say here. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to keep my notes up, so if I keep looking down, that's what I'm looking at. So first things first, I thought the first couple of trailers were really good. They were good, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is going to be movie of the year caliber trailers, in my opinion. As for the most recent, like, TV spots, you know, the 30-second TV spots and things like that I've seen, I really, really feel like I'm getting more and more excited day by day leading up to this movie, because I feel like we're finally getting a little bit more of the story, and it feels like it's just going to be very impactful and very solid. So, like, the whole thing with Pedro's character, I don't know why I'm blanking all of a sudden, Mr. Fantastic. So when he says,
it's a Marvel Rivals character.
Yeah, exactly. It's my favorite character. Yeah, exactly. So when he says Galactus asks too big a price and then says that he wanted their son, oh my gosh, like, dude, I love that. That part of the trailer alone has me more excited for the movie than probably the rest of the trailers that they've done, honestly. So,
oh wow,
yeah, dude, I'm excited.
I honestly think from the first trailer, now I kind of do agree. I didn't think it was going to be like a movie of the year candidate, just from the first one. But I was very pleased with just the aesthetic. Like, it's 60s retro. It's like futuristic 60s though, and I think it just looks cool. And I think their costumes are spot on. I think the Thing, like, they did a very good job at designing him. My biggest kind of fear though when they first announced this movie was Shia LaBeouf's Silver Surfer. But the more and more trailers that we have gotten of that have involved her in them, I've actually think that her character is starting to grow on me a bit. Obviously, I've been very vocal. I am one of the people who want Norrin Rad, the original Silver Surfer, to be in the MCU at some point. But if this is kind of a stepping stone, just showing there are variants of that character, I'm okay with it. But I think one of the things that I've loved the most is, yeah.
One sec. I just need to address this really quick. By the way, Sam, we are not spoiling Superman until the last 30 minutes or so of the stream, so you have nothing to worry about yet, because she said she needs to dip. You don't have to worry about it yet. We will tell you when we're going to talk about spoilers of Superman. That is not yet, so you are
for sure
okay for now. My bad. Go ahead.
For sure. No, you're good. But I think that one of the most recent trailers that came out, because I was also worried, because there had been comments about the Human Torch not being like a ladies' man in this movie, because they were worried, like, oh, they want to do a different take with Johnny Storm. They were worried about Mr. Fantastic and how he's using his powers in the film. And I think the most recent trailer addressed that. And they've done all of this so far without revealing how menacing and how just evil, even though it could be viewed as good by him, but how bad that Galactus is. And so I think we're in for a surprise. I do really like that Marvel has not revealed Galactus's voice to us yet. And I'm looking forward to it. I do think that I do think though that we should go into what we think has to be good for this movie to succeed though.
Really quick, I have kind of a segue off of that. So, you know, you just brought up about them not giving us too much Galactus yet. And I really feel like that's the best move, is to not give us his voice, not give us too much of him. They really haven't fully shown him yet. And the reason I say that is because with Captain America, I really felt like that movie would have felt better if we didn't know or only got teased through trailers that he became Red Hawk. So not seeing way too much, I think, is a good thing, in my opinion.
I agree. I do think they have learned their lesson. I will say one thing, too. This is not even from trailers. I started listening to the soundtrack for this film the other day. My goodness, the score for this film is phenomenal.
I haven't listened to it, but I've heard very, very good things.
So good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to let you go first on the movie to succeed.
Okay. So, I gave 3 reasons, and there's probably more, but these are 3 things that I think that have to succeed in order for this movie to be good and to be well received by fans. So, number 1, and there has been reviews already for this movie that are non-spoiler, but it's reviews and just like initial reactions by fans. So a lot of this has been kind of touched on, but I need to see it to believe it. So number 1, most importantly, this is Marvel's first family. They need to act as a family. I don't want them to have one person shining more than the other. I want them all to equally share. And, you know, you see Reed being the leader. You see Sue being powerful, because she's the most powerful one as far as abilities. You see the Thing really being the heart and soul of the team. And then you see the Human Torch. You see Johnny just being who he is, but he's still an integral part of the team. I need them to be a family and not just be people like the Thunderbolts who are just joined together in the middle of the film. I need them to be just, I want to feel that chemistry between them. So that's number 1. Number 2, I've talked about it. Shia LaBeouf, the Silver Surfer, she has to be phenomenal. Because she's already under the iron by fans because a lot of people aren't happy with her casting. But from what I've heard, each scene that she's in, especially the action sequences, every scene's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. So I hope that's true. I hope that she really brings just so much to this film to where fans are pleased, even though it's something we didn't choose. And then the last thing I need, this movie is one of the very few movies that we have between now and Avengers Doomsday. I need this movie to be high stakes. Now, obviously, it's Galactus, and Galactus is literally the devourer of planets. He eats planets. So I don't know if we're going to see this planet, this universe destroyed or not, but the stakes need to be high. I think they've touched on that a little bit with Franklin being what he desires. It makes sense why he wants Franklin, especially if you are a comic book fan. But I need this movie to set up something bigger than just this film. I need Doomsday to be led into perfectly in this movie, because the Russo brothers also directed one of the post-credit scenes like they did in the Thunderbolts for this film. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. That was the first thing I had was the stakes, right? Because I really feel like leading up to, and I'm going to compare it to a very, very big film, real quick. What's going on, Danielle? I'm going to compare it, because I kind of feel like it's the comparison that makes the most sense. There was so much going into Infinity War, and I feel like we had such a massive buildup with all of the characters that it kind of just, I don't have that same feeling going into Doomsday.
Right.
And so I feel like they really need to hit this one home big time for it to kind of have the same feel. Because Infinity War was just on another level, right? And even Endgame was. And so I feel like, I agree with you. The stakes really need to be high, and it needs to be felt. And I think that's part of the reason we got the post-credit scene in, now I'm blanking on, what movie did we just go see? Not Superman.
Thunderbolts,
thank you. I feel like that's why we got the post-credit scene. I feel like it's going to lead into that well. Or it's just going to be... A lot of people think that it was Doom. That would be crazy. It could be. I don't really think it is. So, but yeah, I agree with the stakes. Another thing that I feel like Now, this is something that we're going to touch on in the next small little segment, but I feel like I'm bringing it into this for a reason. An hour and 55 minutes. Here's what I think they need to do for it to be successful, okay? Superman felt like they did not skip a beat. Every minute of that movie felt like it meant something. And I really feel like every minute, knowing that it's less than 2 hours for this movie, every minute needs to feel like it means something. I don't want a 10 or 15 minute dragged out thing that means absolutely nothing to the story. You know what I mean? Like, I want everything to just be action-packed, throwing punches, incredible dialogue, right? So that's kind of my two big things, to be honest. That's really all I had.
Okay. I like both of them. I think they're both great points.
Yeah.
Especially the runtime.
Yeah. Which brings us into the next part, which is, what are we skeptical of? I'll go first. Runtime.
Okay.
I honestly, like, an hour and 55 minutes. See, here's the thing. I'm the guy that I loved Endgame. I love the Batman. I can go sit in the theater for 3 hours and love every minute of it and love everything about it. So, and a whole hour off of that, man, hour 55, I'm skeptical of. However, being that Evan brought it up that it's the exact same runtime as The Incredibles, I feel good about it. I feel good about it. So, again, I'm skeptical, but I hope it works. I don't really know of much I'm skeptical of. The other thing I was skeptical of was Silver Surfer. However, from everything we've been hearing, like you said, I feel better. I feel a lot better. And like I said, I was skeptical to begin with. I think going behind Superman is a really hard place to be. Like, I really would not want to be going 2 weeks after Superman. I'm a little skeptical for that, but at the same time, the closer we get, the more comfortable I am with the movie, and I think it's going to be great. So,
I will say, going after Superman, it may actually help them.
Really?
Just because everyone's like, okay, because they know that these two movies are competing against each other. And Superman was really good. Obviously, it's a different studio, different direction. But going afterwards, people are like, okay, now that we saw this, let's kind of see what the other one's about so we can say which one is better. So regardless, they're still going to get the money.
Yeah.
And especially after hearing all of the initial reactions recently to, like, what's been going on, like, the embargo being lifted the other day for social media, like, this movie sounds like it's going to be great. Mm-hmm. The two things I was skeptical about, I kind of touched about Silver Surfer, but like we said, it seems more positive. The only other thing that I was really skeptical about for this film is Pedro Pascal.
Really?
And I think Pedro is a very good actor. It's nothing against what he can do. It's just him playing Reed and being that guy, like the smartest man in the entire world. Like, I've heard very good things about it, especially after the social media embargo being lifted the other day. It sounds like he is a good Reed, and possibly even the best Reed that we've ever had. So I am skeptical, though, just because I feel like this was almost like Pedro's in everything. Let's cast him in this because he's a big name. Mm-hmm. Rather than, oh, we could bring somebody back like John Krasinski, or we could do pretty much almost anybody. There were several people in the running for this role. And I really think that in order for this film to really succeed, he has to be that leading man, and he has to be able to play this character without it feeling like he's just Pedro Pascal and playing Reed Richards.
Yeah. That's fair.
So those are my two.
Yeah. I mean, man, I was going to say something. I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. I remembered. So we were talking about this before we started, And so we were talking about how it feels like Marvel and DC, as opposed to Harry Potter and Star Wars, it feels like they can have the bigger, more known actors come in and play these roles. And like the thing with Pedro, I didn't have any idea who Pedro was. Evan didn't have any idea who Pedro was before The Mandalorian. And it really feels like now I kind of agree with what you're saying. He's such a big name actor that it seems like they're like, hey, let's bring him into The Last of Us. Let's bring him into Marvel. Let's bring him into this. And I kind of get what you're saying. But I mean, that's nothing against Pedro as an actor. I think he's phenomenal. But I totally get your point about it feeling like they're trying to really use him to just sell tickets instead of just play a good role. Yeah.
Well, moving on to our next section, if we don't have anything else to say, we're going to be moving on to the news and rumors section like we had last week on episode 1. I thought this segment was pretty good last week. I enjoyed it a lot, just talking about some different reports, different rumors going on in the Star Wars, Marvel, and DC world. So this one that we're starting off with could be pretty big. If this is true, it's going to have the fandom divided, but it could be awesome.
But that's the thing. Will it be divided, or will it kind of pull it together? I'll let you go ahead and say it before chat,
The first rumor that we have for this week is Henry Cavill returning to the DCU as Batman.
I see. Here's the thing. I was skeptical when we first got the rumor. I'm still skeptical. Don't take me wrong. However, I think he could do it good. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be so hard for me to go into the movies and see him as Batman and not Superman. I really find that would be difficult, especially because I watched most of this. I think I actually watched everything he was in the Snyderverse. I haven't seen everything in the Snyderverse, but I think I've seen everything he was in. So to me, he's just Superman,
Yeah, I think it's more likely that he will not be Superman. I'm sorry, he will not be Batman. Mm-hmm. Just because I don't think that James Gunn would do that to David Corenswet. I don't feel like let's bring in the former Superman and let's put him alongside you as the other star. I don't feel like he will do it. I know James Gunn has said that he does want Henry Cavill to be in the DCU, but what kind of role are we talking about? Because he didn't say he's like, I want him to be one of the leading men of my company. Now, if he was Batman, I could see it so much, dude. After seeing a post, I think I retweeted it on Friday when we were talking about this originally. But, man, he could pull it off. He looks like he could play Batman, bro. And he's a great actor. I think him being side by side with David Corenswet, it could be really good. It could honestly make for some comedic moments, too, between the two of them. Yeah. And I don't think it's likely that he will be Batman, as much as I kind of wish it would happen now, but we'll see.
See, me, I don't really see him jumping into that right now. It could happen down the road because I think the DCU is in a very good place to where they're good. Like, I think they're going to be around for a while with this, slate that they have. But I think he's really focused right now on his Warhammer stuff. And so I don't really see him doing it now or within the next few years. It could happen. And think about this for a second. So, but however, I guess if they're going to do Batman soon, they really can't wait now because there's supposed to be a Batman movie in 2 or 3 years. So and I'm not talking about the Batman. I'm talking about the Brave and the Bold. So, I was gonna say if they held off for a decade, and then he came in, he could really play an older Batman then, but a decade's way too long.
I agree. Honestly, at the moment, Batman's probably going to be played by either Brendan Sklenar or Alan Ritchson. Possibly Jensen Ackles, but he's a little bit older. I know they want an older Batman, but not that much older. So I don't know if Jensen Ackles will do it, even though he has voiced Batman. So Ritchson has the size. Sklenar has the look. So I don't know. Unless Sklenar kind of put on a little bit more muscle. Because Richardson's got to be big to play Reacher. So I could see either of them, though.
I really feel like Richardson is the move. And that's the thing too. All the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter and X, whatever you want to call it, everything like that about the Batman we're supposed to be getting for the DCU. I love the style we're gonna get because they're talking about gray suit with the yellow, the black. That's what I'm excited. I'm really excited for that. I feel like we went through this whole, I guess you want to say the whole 2010s. It felt like everything they did in superhero movies, they were trying to make everything so dark and go with just this very dark. And now we're finally getting comic accurate stuff again. And it has me unbelievably excited. And of course, I'm going to say it probably every time we talk about Batman. I'm excited for Robin. Okay? Really excited for Robin. I mean, let's be honest here. So, you know.
Yeah. But regardless of what happens, I would like to see Henry Cavill play something in the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great actor. He deserves a part.
Oh, 100%, bro. Wait, wasn't he recently in MCU? Yeah.
Yes, he played the Cavalrine.
That's correct. What's going on, Teo? What's up, Drea? Yeah, that's right.
What's up, ladies?
I feel like he needs to be in more Marvel stuff, to be honest. I don't really know what they do with him, but...
Unless he's the new Wolverine. I doubt it, though.
Wait, but didn't it just recently... guys, we're completely shifting here, but didn't it just recently come out that... who played Wolverine? Goodness. Hugh. Isn't he still playing him for a little while?
They're saying that... Dude, I love Hugh Jackman. I really do. He's a great Wolverine. But if we're rebooting the X-Men, we need to reboot the X-Men. Not have the X-Men minus Wolverine being dead.
That's fair.
Unless you're just not going to have Wolverine part of the X-Men and Hugh Jackman's character is just going to stay.
I will be very upset if they do X-Men and Wolverine's not part of it. I will understand what they're doing, but I also will be upset. Yeah.
All right, buddy. What we got next?
All right. We got a pretty cool one, ladies and gentlemen. So, Wyatt Russell is rumored to possibly join the galaxy far, far away as the live-action Agent Callus. Now, Agent Callus was introduced in Star Wars Rebels. Was a really annoying character for a while in the first couple of seasons, and then at the end he ended up being a pretty cool character who joined the rebellion and everything. So they're saying that he's going to join in the Ahsoka series, so season 2. Honestly, I could see it. Evan showed me a picture from Twitter, and he really looks like he could play it well. He really does. He has the look.
W.
Yeah.
W.
Very big W. I agree. Now, how I feel about Agent Callus being in Ahsoka, I think it fits. However, we're going to need a little bit of tie-in because at the end of Rebels, we had Callus was with Zeb. and now we've obviously seen that Zeb was in The Mandalorian, and was completely. I didn't see Callus anywhere, so I'm kind of interested to see how they tie it in, or where he's at, what he's been doing, all that stuff. But I mean, I like the idea. I really do. Got anything?
Yeah, honestly, bro, I haven't thought about Agent Callus in a long time. And when I saw that, bro, I didn't realize it was Wyatt Russell at first. I just looked at him like, oh, that's cool. That's Agent Callus. And then I'm like, wait, that's Wyatt Russell. It just looks like it fits, bro. He looks just like him. He could play him so well. If they do it, I'll be happy. If they don't, and they don't even bring in the character, whatever. I hope if they do bring in the character, it is him.
I have a thought, kind of a theory. What if? Now hear me out. So, in Rebels, Agent Callus was working with Thrawn. What if he was always working with Thrawn, even when he was with the Rebellion? That could be crazy. Imagine Agent Callus is like just doing something with, he's just inside of the New Republic, and he's been a spy this whole time. That could be crazy. That could actually end up being super cool. What do you think?
I'm with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with it.
I think that
Disney.
could be interesting.
Hire my boy.
Hi, my boy. Listen, we're going to get into that in a little bit, chat. But Disney, if you're watching this,
I'm teasing a little bit.
If you're watching this, you need to hire your boy. I love Star Wars. I would give it everything I got, and I think most fans would love it. You're never going to please everybody. It doesn't matter what you do. You're never going to please everybody. Marvel can't please everybody. Disney can't please everybody. The only thing that I've seen that pleases everybody is like Stranger Things. I don't hear a lot of hate for Stranger Things. I'm going to be honest. We had 10 in here. Nice. That's sick.
Oh, wow. Bumped up quick.
Yep. I think that's all I have to say about that one if you want to jump to the next, bro.
Okay, so something that has been brought to our attention is the budget for Avengers Doomsday. This thing is insane.
Crazy.
Did a little bit of research earlier. So the cost for this movie is $1 billion. That includes sets, visuals, casting. A significant portion of that $1 billion went towards casting. Makes sense. They have like 50 people in this film. Crazy.
$1 billion, bro.
So RDJ is receiving $100 million per movie for Doomsday and then for Secret Wars. And that doesn't even include the bonuses that he's going to be getting from the box office. This man is going to be making like probably close to $350 million between these two films.
My goodness.
Like ridiculous.
Dude.
But that $1 billion does not include the millions of dollars that they are going to be spending in marketing.
Yeah. Insane, bro. See, that's the thing is like, I was having this conversation today, and it's like, I don't really understand where we are in, honestly, pop culture in general. Dude, they're spending so much money on movies and games and shows that it doesn't make any sense to me how they're making money. Isn't it? Didn't it say in that article that they're gonna have to make like $2 billion on that movie to break even?
Yes, to break even, they need to make $2 billion.
Bro, $2 billion they have to make on Avengers Doomsday to break even is the craziest thing I've ever heard. It literally doesn't make any sense.
Like, they're basically banking on this being the greatest film of all time.
Yeah. Or at least, I mean, of course, they need it to be the highest grossing or close to it.
$2 billion is going to be.
They're going to have to,
like
they're gonna
Marvel,
have to make their money on popcorn buckets, bro. They're gonna make these things $100.
Marvel needs. They need Fantastic Four and Spider-Man to do very, very well.
Yeah.
Like these, how many months? So we're pushing August. So we got roughly a little bit over 16 months until this movie comes out. They need to finish up the script strong, and they need to make sure that these projects they got coming out between now and then are it.
Oh, yeah. They need to be bangers. Definitely need to be bangers.
Because I get what you're doing. You're trying to make this the best movie that you ever have made. But my goodness, that budget is ridiculous.
Yeah, the budget's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that thumbs up. It really helps us. We would appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I don't know. The budget, it doesn't make sense to me. I really don't get how they spend so much money on everything. Like, for instance, Andor, they spent $750 million. I don't really see how they're making money.
Especially and that's what, a 12-episode show?
Yeah. Well, that could be both seasons. I could be wrong.
Both seasons?
I think it's both seasons. I could be wrong. If it's one, it makes it look even worse. But like I don't get it. GTA 6 they spent $1 billion on that game. I don't. They've talked about Battlefront 3 having to cost upwards of $500 million. I just don't get how they're making any money doing this kind of spending that kind of money.
I will say, it's nice to see them finally using their money.
That's true. Disney
because look at like Kenobi.
Budget. Yeah. Kenobi was like 90.
Shows like Kenobi should have got way more money than they did.
Yeah. In all fairness, this is my personal opinion. I really think Kenobi should have gotten a higher budget than Andor. I don't see how people can possibly say Andor is a bigger character than Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. So I really feel like that should have got a better budget. But, that's here nor there.
I do think, though, and you know how much I love Obi, Andor is definitely the better show, but it is because they spent more.
Yeah. I don't really think you can just blame it on that. Andor was written better. Andor was 100% written better than Kenobi. And you know how I feel
about the writing
Andor.
For Kenobi was garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I even had people on TikTok today with a clip from last week crapping on me about my take from Andor, but I can still sit here and tell you that Andor was 100% written better than Kenobi. And I love both. But it was definitely written better than Kenobi. Hands down.
And why is Kenobi only getting 6 episodes?
Agreed. I mean, we there's a big rabbit hole we can go into with Kenobi. Maybe do that next week. It'd be kind of cool. Because I feel like the Kenobi trilogy that they had planned, so much better than what we got. So much better than what we got. So I'm going to do my homework, and next week we're going to put that as a segment, and we're going to discuss Kenobi, because that deserves to be talked about,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want me to take the next one because it makes me angry?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
So, Beyond the Spider-Verse got delayed again, ladies and gentlemen. Only 3 weeks to June 25th, 2027. Now, here's the thing. Does it make that big of a difference? No. It's 3 weeks, okay? I get the reasoning. The reasoning behind it was kids will be out of school in America. And what was the second one? Do you remember?
Is there another movie coming out that they didn't want to compete with?
I don't
remember.
It was something.
Then,
either way.
It might just be kids.
Like, why didn't you think about that the first 17 times it's been delayed? Like, what? Why? Why do you wait till now to decide to move it back 3 weeks? You've delayed the movie so many times. I don't understand what part of that is difficult. Like,
Something else that's crazy to me is now that we got all the news we did yesterday from Kevin Feige, them delaying that movie so much, it just means that it's that much longer until the MCU can actually introduce Miles Morales, because they're not allowed to go near him until that trilogy is over.
which is also interesting to me. Look at all of the. Now, I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you definitely know more about this than I do. Look at all of the MCU stuff that they've pulled into those movies, but they won't let the MCU use Miles. I don't really understand that. Doesn't make any sense.
Well, I can kind of understand it, because technically it's kind of like how they license Peter Parker to Disney to use. Miles Morales is not licensed to them, so they can pull different like Spider-Man variants like Peter Parker into their own thing, because it technically is theirs. They're just leasing him. They have not done a thing like that for Miles.
True. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I didn't really think about it that way.
To be honest, now, I don't want this for the long term, and actually kind of thinking about it now, this would probably not be the best idea. But a long time ago, in order for them to have solved this problem, they could have totally been like, okay, Marvel, you can have the rights to Peter Parker, but Miles Morales will be the Spider-Man of Sony.
I like that.
That could have been a good solve. Now, though, knowing that, like, you know, we're at least going to get a trilogy with Tom Holland. That's confirmed. We're getting a trilogy at the least in the next 2 Avengers films. So, say Tom only does 3 more movies, and then we start setting up Miles, we're getting closer to Miles than we've ever been as far as live action goes. So now I wouldn't want Sony to only have the rights to Miles. But in the past, that would have been my fix to it.
Yeah. Also, 12 in the chat. What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Yeah, man. I don't know. You know that I want more Miles. You know that Miles is creeping up on being my favorite character in Marvel. Like, that's really where we're getting to. I even re-downloaded the game yesterday because I love it. So, like, I'm dead serious. So, my thing is kind of this. So, we know we're getting another trilogy with Tom and the 2 Avengers films, and it's rumored that we could get another trilogy after that with Tom. So that's the thing, is like, that's 7, no, it's 8 more films with Tom. I really want some Miles stuff, and I feel like in Tom's second trilogy of, it would be his third if we get it. I really feel like that would be the time to start sprinkling in Miles. That would really be the good thing to do. Unless they do it soon and they're just completely BSing everything, making us think that we're not getting him, which they could be. But
I honestly think it won't be Brand New Day. But I think if they are going to start sprinkling Miles in, maybe there could be post-credit scene type of scene at the end of Spider-Man 5, whatever they're going to do with that. And that kind of sets up, like, so say Tom's not going to have a third trilogy, and Spider-Man 6 will be his last standalone film. You could kind of have a little bit of the story arc that they did in the game, where he kind of starts to mentor Miles, and Miles ends up taking over the mantle for him at the end of Spider-Man 6. It's a send-off to Peter, and Miles then takes over.
Fair. I like that.
But we'll wait and see. But speaking of fixing things and how I would fix things, we're now going to be talking about a very good topic that's near and dear to my brother's heart. I'm having Trey explain to us today what he would do and how he would fix Star Wars.
First things first, that was the smoothest transition I think I've ever seen. that was a W. That was a big W. W's in the chat for Ev right there. That was very, very good.
3 steps ahead, baby.
We have put down, so I've written down all my thoughts on this, and we've also put down 10 to 20 minutes. If I go over, chat, I'm sorry. I'm very passionate about this. Okay, I have a lot to say.
Need a buzzer.
And all I really have is just thoughts that I put down, but I'm going to elaborate on them a lot, I'm sure. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this with what has Star Wars done very, very good recently. And in my opinion, it is animation. I do not feel like they have had very many misses with animation. It has been phenomenal. Clone Wars came back, and it was great. Star Wars Rebels was Disney. It was great. Dave Filoni has given us so many amazing projects. I'm trying to remember them all off the top of my head. We had all of the Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Empire, and Tales of the Underworld. All great.
And Sith.
No, we didn't get Sith. It was Empire.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, but I used to think the same thing. I said the same thing. It happens. Let's see. What's some other animation we've gotten? I did not like Resistance. Honestly, I did not think Resistance was... I didn't even finish it. It's the only Star Wars project I've not finished. I've watched everything else probably more than 5 times each. So, like, that's dead serious. And so... But on top of that, like, we're getting the Darth Maul show. And I'm so unbelievably excited for the Darth Maul show that... And that's the thing is, I feel like it's because they know their stride. They found their stride. They know it very well when it comes to animation. And so that's part of the reason I'm excited for the Maul show, besides the fact that I just love Darth Maul. So again, we need more animation. I think, again, they found their stride. They know what works. Most of it hits pretty well. Fan base wise, I feel like it's a smaller part of the audience that watches all of the animation. However, we all love it. Oh, Bad Batch. I totally forgot about Bad Batch. Phenomenal show. Phenomenal show. You have anything you want to say about the animation before I go on?
So far for your report card, you have an A+. I completely agree with what you are saying. Dude, animation has been some of the best that Star Wars has done, especially within the last 10 years. Like, their animation is phenomenal. So I 100% agree.
I will say, when it comes to animation, I don't think... We were just talking about Miles. The Spider-Verse movies have been phenomenal. I don't think I want animation on the movie front in Star Wars. I think it needs to... I think they know their stride well with animation, with shows and series, and I think they need to leave it that way. That's really a big piece of what I think. I don't really think they need to go into movies with animation.
So you're telling me that if they did a movie and it brings back like Ashley Eckstein voicing Ahsoka, and you have like Clone Wars era movie, because they did the Clone Wars movie. Imagine they did another type Clone Wars type movie. You wouldn't want that.
Oh, I'm not saying I wouldn't want it. What I'm saying is, I think they know their stride well with the shows. And because that's the thing, the Clone Wars movie didn't do very good. And honestly, at this day and age, most people have it as the worst Star Wars movie they ever made. So that's kind of what I'm saying is, like, they know their stride well with the shows. They know what they're doing. Also, Visions. Visions is also animated. I like Visions. I like Season 1 more than I like Season 2. I thought Season 2 kind of fell off, but I am excited for Season 3. Now,
I did not watch Visions.
Good. Oh, yeah.
I did not watch Visions.
Yeah.
I do want to say before we move on to the next segment, we have 18 people in this chat.
19. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on?
Goodness.
I'm glad you guys are here for this segment because this is a cool one. I'm enjoying it. So the next thing I have, this is coming from somebody who loves Oh, whoa, the quality just dropped off really bad on the... do you see that? There it goes. Okay, anyway. I really love Legends. I really love canon. I really feel like they need to give us movie adaptations of a lot of the books. We're at a point where we have so many phenomenal books, especially those three up there, the Thrawn trilogy, which they're not going to do because I think Dave's given us his own version of the Heir to the Empire stuff, which is perfectly okay, and I'm fine with that. But I really, really, really feel like we need... Man, there's just so many good books that they could give us stuff on. I can't even honestly think... I mean, all of the Thrawn books are incredible. They could give us so much in just the Thrawn books that there's no reason... Because look at Harry Potter. Look at what those movies were able to do. Look how big they were. Huge, right? And so I really feel like that's the move when it comes to that. Like, we need the books to be adapted into movies. And I feel like they would hit because such a small portion of the fandom reads the books, right? Such a small portion. So it feels like giving us, like for my father, for instance, he doesn't read the books. But if they adapted it into a movie, he would 100% go watch the movie, right? I feel like it's a big thing that they could do to bring those stories to life. And again, you know, there's some of those stories they've retconned pieces of. They retconned pieces of Dark Disciple. They retconned pieces of the Ahsoka book, which is okay, right? But at the same time, giving us full movies on these stories, I think, would be a stellar move for them. Next thing, do you have anything to add to that before I move on?
I am 100% down for them making the books and the movies. I have the same thought process kind of like about DC. Like I know that we have the DCU now, but we also have Elseworlds. If you had the main Star Wars canon as a timeline and you had the Legends and Extended Universe as another kind of like Elseworlds as DC has, I think that would be phenomenal. I think a lot more of the Legend stories are way more compelling, to be honest. My big thing is I feel like you have to stick to the material, because if you stray from the material very much, fans are going to be upset. So I absolutely want them to do that. So report card grade is still an A+, by the way.
Appreciate that. I have a few more thoughts. Number one, I'm going to say, I have to really watch how I say this because I know there's a lot of people that this could make mad, and I'm not trying to do that. I don't hate Kathleen Kennedy, okay? I'm going to start out by saying
Fire her.
I don't hate Kathleen Kennedy. But
Fire
I personally think Dave really needs to be the guy, or even Jon Favreau. I will not hate that Jon Favreau either. And honestly, Sam Witwer as well. Any of those three, we need to have one of those three be the president and head of Lucasfilm, because we'll have one solid vision. I feel like lately, with Kathleen at the helm, it feels like we've had just so many different visions and so many different priorities for what Star Wars needs to be going forward. And I feel like we need one clear, thought out, lore-backed, loved vision. That's really what we need. So I feel like those three would be my pick, to be perfectly honest. Sam Witwer, he loves Star Wars. He knows the lore. And I feel like he would give it everything he has. Same with Dave and John. They know it. They love it. They do what they got to do. The next thing. So I talked about adapting the books into movies. This is kind of the last thing that I have as the big piece. And what I think they need to do, they need to take the comics and give us series out of the comics. So you're just adapting the comic into a show. And we really, really need a Darth Vader series. That's going to make a lot of people mad. A lot of people keep saying that we don't need more Vader, we get too much Vader. I completely disagree. Darth Vader is one of the greatest characters in cinema history. And that is a fact. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. One of the greatest characters in cinema history. We really, like, and especially lately because Hayden has been playing Vader so much. And it really feels like we're getting kind of a new take on Vader. And I love it.
Did you see that Hayden Christensen, speaking of that, did you see that he recently canceled going to, like, a comic convention because they're doing night shoots? Dude.
Is that why? Is that why?
Yeah, he's wherever he's filming. I think it's in England. They're having to film in the evening time. I'm assuming he's not like sleeping much during the day. They're doing a lot of night shoots.
Do you know what they're filming right now?
Ahsoka season 2.
Oh my goodness, chat. I am excited for Ahsoka season 2. If you cannot tell by the way I just lit up like a Christmas tree. Yeah, the Vader series I think really needs to happen. Another project that I think we're getting into this world, but I don't know. We're getting into it, but I don't know how much we're going to get of it. I really want to see a series of Luke building his Jedi Temple and his new order. I really want that. And that could be the place that they introduce Mara Jade. We discussed this last week, and I feel like that'd be a good place to do it. If they're going to keep the canon of the sequels, which I think they will, I don't think they're going to retcon them. She's going to have to die. It's really the only thing that makes sense. But we could still get some awesome stories with Mara Jade and canon. I feel like it's the move, right? It doesn't, like, nothing about that seems bad.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would be the perfect spot to put her in. Mm-hmm. And it would be awesome to see Luke establish the Jedi Order. My only thing about it, too, if you do that, you could bring back Adam Driver. Which I would be fine with. He's one of the few things of the sequels that I actually enjoyed. So,
yes,
that could be really cool.
Wait, but how are they going to bring back Driver, though? Because when...
Well, they de-age everybody now, too.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about that. They could de-age Adam Driver and bring him back. That would be phenomenal, because I did really like Kylo Ren. Clearly by the name of the channel, ladies and gentlemen, the Nerds of Ren. Right? Here we are. I love Kylo.
It's actually the Birds of Ren.
The Birds of Ren, that's true. I was typing it on Twitter, and I typed the Birds of Ren. I don't even know how that happened. But
he has a new hobby.
Yeah, taking pictures of some birds, you know. Other than that, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Oh, I actually did think of something. I really did. I feel like one thing Lucasfilm and Star Wars struggles with nowadays is letting fans speak their full opinions, especially content creators. That's one thing I would really change if I was able to change Star Wars, is they're taking people's voices away because they criticize certain projects. And I'm not a big fan of that. I feel like everybody starts their channels and everybody has their TikToks and everything like that because they love Star Wars. And I feel like the fandom's at this place where if you love something like The Acolyte, you get hated on by one side. If you hate The Acolyte, you get hated on by the other side. I really hate that, to be honest. That's really at a place where I feel like we need to change that. And I feel like Disney they really like to reward people who only love and vocally love everything, whereas we need to let some fans criticize some stuff a little bit, because how is it going to get better if we don't criticize, right?
I agree. Absolutely.
And I feel like Marvel's
like
the same
we
way.
well, we did that. There was a movement because of how garbage Daredevil Born Again was going to be. And they're like, you're not bringing back characters from the Netflix show. You're going to change them completely. And it wasn't until they had the creative overhaul, which the fans had a really big part in doing. Like, we voiced our opinion. The actors themselves voiced their opinion. And Daredevil Born Again is what it is because of criticism. And it got changed for the better because it was not going to be what we wanted, and it would have been another flop for Marvel. And honestly, they would be in a worse ship than they are right now.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it seems like that ended up doing great. So I feel like Star Wars needs to kind of take a little step back and realize that all of the criticism coming from the fans, creators, everything like that, it's really out of love. Because all we want is for Star Wars to flourish. We want Star Wars to be incredible. We want it to be around for decades, generations, really. Because at this point, it's been around 50 years. So it's like, I mean, I want to go 50 years from now and Star Wars be great and be better than it is today. And so I feel like they really need to hone in on, you know, I watch what was happening with Superman. Supes was, I mean, he literally did a podcast with James Gunn. Why is that not happening with Dave Filoni, with Jon Favreau? Like, I don't understand why we're not letting that happen. It feels like they have us, there's just a wall, and they don't want to go through the wall with creators. And I find it a little bit to be in a bad place, to be honest. But I'm hopeful for the future, to be honest.
I really liked all your points. I have 2 questions for you. First question. If you were in charge, what type of content output would you have per year?
Okay. I have some thoughts here, because that's an interesting question, and I love it. At least one movie a year. I don't feel like there's any reason that we shouldn't be getting a Star Wars movie every year. We went a 5-year period getting a movie every year. We had the sequels every other year, and then we had the Solo movie, and then Rogue One. I loved it, man. I was so happy to be able to go to the movie every year, watch a Star Wars movie. I loved them all, even though that's going to give me hate. It's okay. I love them all. I don't think all of them are great, but I love them because they're Star Wars, right? Again, they're not all great, but I love them. And then, you know, we've gone 6 years without a movie, right? And so it feels like I think we're all just hungry for more Star Wars, especially in the movies. That's really where we're at. So one movie a year is a must. They don't even have to be connecting stories. It doesn't have to be a trilogy. It doesn't have to be this. Doesn't have to be that. You could do a Old Republic movie one year. You could do the Heir to the Empire movie the next. That's okay. I'm fine with that, you know? And then for the rest of it, I personally believe there should be no reason in the world that we shouldn't get an animated season of anything. 18 to 22 episodes. Say the Mall Show, for instance. Say they want to run it for 4 or 5 years. It needs to be like it used to be. And we need to get a season every year. Most people would act like that's impossible nowadays, and it might be, but I think that's the way that it should be, so I'm going to say it. And then, honestly, I really believe there's no reason in the world we shouldn't be able to have 2 animated series going at the same time. Right? We had Bad Batch, and we had, I think, or was Bad Batch right after Clone Wars? I think it was right after. So it seems like they're doing one, and I think one's okay. But they could do two. Or we could get one animated series, and then we could get a live action. So say we get Maul and Ahsoka like we're getting next year, as well as a movie. I like that output. We're getting Maul, we're getting Ahsoka, we're getting Mando and Grogu. I think that is very, very good for what it's trying to do. But I also think that they could add some little other stuff in there, like the shorts for Tales, right? Add little stuff like that in there. I think next year's output is probably as good as we're going to get, honestly. So I like it. I really like that output.
I like it too. Like, honestly, I feel like you have shows like Marvel, franchises like Marvel, and they put out, now they're cutting down. So we'll have 2 movies in a year. We'll have, I think, 2 to 3 shows and maybe 1 to 2 animated shows. So that's not a bad output. Like, one thing of each is not bad at all for Star Wars. So I like that a lot. I think that is very doable. My last question to you. If, regardless of all the good and all the bad that has happened with Star Wars since they have been owned by Disney, if it were up to you in this very moment, would you sell Star Wars back to George Lucas?
I was expecting the question to be, would I erase it all? And my answer to erasing it all would be no. My answer to selling it back to George, yes.
I agree.
Here's my thing. I personally believe the good we've gotten from Disney outweighs the bad. I really, really do. Because we've gotten some... I mean, dude, look up here. Do you see Ahsoka everywhere up here? Without Disney, we wouldn't have as much Ahsoka as we have. So for me, that's a highlight. Without Disney, we wouldn't have gotten... Well, we may have still gotten continuation of the Clone Wars, but... I don't think season 7 would have been what it is had he not sold. Honestly, I don't think we'd have as much Star Wars as we have had he not sold. But looking at it now, some of the stuff he had in development, he wrote his own sequels, which I'm sure would have been phenomenal. And I like the sequels we got, but I still love George Lucas. Come on now. And he also had a show. Was it Underworld? I think is what it was. There was 50 episodes written.
Oh.
Dude, it was going to be live action. And so it would have been incredible. But if he was to buy it now, I think he would give us that. And also, I also think if George was to take Star Wars back, he would let Dave Filoni just have creative... Dave Filoni could do whatever he wanted. I really believe that. So I think you could still get some phenomenal stuff there. But yeah, that's kind of my whole take on it.
I like it. I think overall, with your vision of how to fix Star Wars, I agree with all of it. And I think that Disney needs to hire you as soon as possible.
I appreciate that. I do think I kind of want to fully sit down and think about my thoughts and my full vision for Star Wars. And I kind of want to make a video on it. I think that could be fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that could be very fun. I'm going to let you start. Well, first things first. 21 in here. You guys are incredible. We love it. We appreciate it. Smash that likes up.
Thank you.
Likes up. Smash the like button. It's going to help more people see the live and the pod, so we would appreciate it. But I'm going to let you go ahead and start the next segment. I'm going to go do something real quick, so I'll be back.
All right. So, what is going to be mentioned now is San Diego Comic-Con is this weekend. Now, a lot of the big panels and stuff, such as like Hall H with Marvel, you have DC's big panel, you have Star Wars panel. A lot of the big companies, they've backed out. This big reason Marvel did was because Well, they don't really have a big film other than Fantastic Four right now. They're going to promote it, but there's not any announcement that they're willing to do right now because Doomsday is still shooting. Spider-Man is shooting. There's not a lot to talk about right now. So understandable. But with that being said, there are still going to be panels for each. And I'm going to touch a good bit about, well, maybe a little bit, but I'm going to touch on some of the stuff that Marvel could possibly be announcing this weekend and stuff that I would like to see happen. So starting off, we have Marvel Gaming. Obviously, if you are a big fan of the Spider-Man video games, if you are a PlayStation player and you just enjoy Marvel games in general, we are curious to see any type of update on Spider-Man 3. I know it's still happening. It probably will not be coming out for several years, but I'd like an update, just whatever you have. So Spider-Man 3 is probably going to be setting up the Green Goblin and possibly even Carnage as the main villains, and it could be phenomenal. It's going to be a great way to end this trilogy if they do stick with just doing 3. But I'm looking forward to that. So I want an update on that game. The Wolverine game has been such a long time now. It was said to be coming out soon, and it's gotten delayed several times. So I am wanting to know if we're even going to have the Wolverine game still, because the Spider-Man games are phenomenal within themselves, but when they started talking like, oh, we're going to branch out, do other characters, I got really excited as well, because I love Spider-Man, his favorite character, but I think we need other characters, and it'd be awesome to have like a Daredevil game, Wolverine, and the X-Men, stuff like that. So I want more on Wolverine. Obviously, the game that is going to be coming out beginning of next year, like first quarter next year, will be Captain America and Black Panther, set in the World War II era, and it's Captain America and it's T'Challa's dad, King T'Chaka, and that's supposed to be coming out next year. It had gotten delayed. It was going to be coming out this year, got pushed back a little bit, but they're taking their time, and I am fully behind that. But we still are like half a year, a little bit over half a year away from when it comes out, and I want a little bit more. We've gotten the trailer for it, great, and I also would just like to just know where we stand for that game. So those are 3 games. There's more that they have been talking about, like an Iron Man game, stuff like that, but it's a little bit out from now as far as timeline goes. I guess it's not for a while, so I don't know if we're still getting any of those, but Wolverine, Spider-Man 3, and Black Panther, and Captain America video games. So I want to know about all 3 of those. Another game that I would like to know more about is I want to see if they're going to be having a Marvel Crisis Protocol panel this weekend, because Marvel Crisis Protocol, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream before a lot of people were in here, it is a tabletop game, and it looks phenomenal. You get to paint your own minis, you get cards, and you have one-on-one tournament style games. It's awesome. And Popcorn and Pixels, my buddy Cam, is actually picking up this hobby, and he's gotten the characters. He's going to be doing the mini painting. So if they have a Marvel Crisis Protocol booth or anything at SDCC, I would love to see what they announce for this game. There's new expansion packs coming out later this year, and so I think that'd be cool if we had something like that. So we have Marvel video games and also Marvel gaming. I'm sure they will announce other tabletop games and card building, deck building games, stuff like that. As far as the MCU goes, we know that we're not getting movie panels and stuff like that this year, but I do think that we could still get something for the animation panels, because Eyes of Wakanda, after Fantastic Four, Eyes of Wakanda is the next project to come out. It comes out in August, so we're about a month, maybe a little bit less than a month away, so a few weeks, and we need more on that before it comes out. Like, it's literally next month. We need more information, so I'd like to see them announce more stuff about Eyes of Wakanda and Marvel Zombies, because both of those are animated. Marvel Zombies will be coming out in October. That's the next project after Eyes of Wakanda. So if we got something about those 2 projects, I'd be pretty happy. Obviously, they are having a Fantastic Four booth because they're promoting their movie that's coming out this weekend. That's pretty much the only thing. If they're not doing movies, I don't know if they're doing any other. So I don't really see us getting Wonder Man promo right now. It comes out in December. This may be their only big time to promote it. I know we still have NYCC. That's later in the year, I believe, right?
Yep. October.
So So October maybe when they promote Wonder Man. But so as far as the Marvel, like I said, Wolverine, Spider-Man 3, Captain America, Black Panther game. I want to know about those updates. Marvel Crisis Protocol, Eyes of Wakanda, and Marvel Zombies. That's kind of where I'm at for Marvel. And then DC, I don't really know much about what DC's doing. They're not going to be promoting Supergirl right now. They are said to only be promoting, as far as live action stuff goes, Peacemaker Season 2, which is the next thing for them. So James Gunn and John Cena are having a panel this weekend. I have not seen the first season of Peacemaker, so I don't really know about the show. I do know that they're setting up a lot with Season 2, though.
That could hit for clips. That could really hit for clips.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I have a big, bold prediction. You heard that?
Oh.
Big, bold prediction.
No, I did not.
For San Diego Comic-Con, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we getting a sponsor?
Oh, no. They shut the door out there, and it made my door rattle. All right, so to the 20 people in the chat and everybody watching this, because this is going to be a clip. For all of you watching this, I want you to come back to this moment when I'm right. At San Diego Comic-Con, ladies and gentlemen, 2025, they are going to announce, and they're going to break the internet, that EA is making Battlefront 3. I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. I can dream, right? I can wish. I know all of you want it. So if you're watching this, spam Battlefront 3 in the comment section, and let's get it in front of Star Wars and Lucasfilm so that we can finally get Battlefront 3. All right. That was
hashtag we want Battlefront 3.
Hashtag we want Battlefront 3, baby. That was my, what's it called? When you're trying to get clips. I forget what it's called, bro. That's absolutely what I was doing right there. It's really
what, clip sniping?
Yeah, I don't remember. But I do think we're going to get some cool gaming stuff at San Diego Comic-Con. I really do. And again, I think you're right. I would love to see some stuff about Marvel Crisis Protocol. I'd love to see some stuff about Spider-Man. I'd love to see some stuff, honestly, about Shatterpoint as well. Yeah, man, I think it's going to be kind of a dry San Diego Comic-Con. I really don't think we're going to get a lot. Because last year we got... It was last year, right, when we got RDJ, right?
Oh, yeah. I was on my way back from Virginia Beach when we got that. I was flipping out.
That was a very big one. And I feel like I would love to have that moment this year. I feel like if we're going to get it from anybody, it's going to be DC. I feel like they're the only ones that's going to be able to give us anything. What do you think there?
Let me just say, I'm realizing my family takes really bad, time planning vacations. It's horrible planning. This year, I'm missing Fantastic Four and SDCC. Last year, I was coming back. I was in the car when SDCC was going on. I need to stop going on vacations at the end of July.
Yeah. The end of July time slot seems to be big for superhero stuff. That's for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Before we hop into the end, 24 of you in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, we really appreciate you guys. We really appreciate you guys. Let's get those likes up a little bit, but it's a great start. To have 24 in here in our second pod, I'm happy with that.
Absolutely. We doubled the first one?
The first one, the biggest number was 10.
Oh, wow. So we over doubled.
Yeah. Very, 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 very good. We are very appreciative. We appreciate you guys. This is going to end up being a massive show. Both of us know that. So we're glad you guys are here to witness the beginning. We really appreciate it. It's all you.
All right. Before we get into this, we're going to preface this now. If you have not seen Superman yet, and you do not want to be spoiled, this is where we say goodbye. Because we are going to be talking spoilers. This is our spoiler-filled review of Superman. So if this is where you're leaving, we appreciate you stopping by,
Appreciate
and
it.
we look forward to seeing you in later content. Maybe come back and watch the rest of this when you have seen the movie, and we want to hear our take on it.
Absolutely. Once you've seen it, come back, watch this. And at that point, for the playback, it's going to be up here on the channel. And then I think this clip for sure is going to be on Evan's channel. So go over there, watch that, leave your comments and what you feel about the movie as well. We're gonna love to interact with you on that. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, hop out of here if you've have not seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled.
Also, before we start, I think I'm going to go from being Clark Kent to Superman. I'm taking these off. Oh, man.
Imagine I just went, now I'm going to be Lex Luthor, and I take this off and I'm bald. Bro, what would you do if I did that, bro?
Bro, I'd cry. That's what you got up and did before you just left to go shave your head real quick.
Here.
the dedication. Everybody screenshot that. Screenshot that.
That's getting
oh my gosh.
Unfortunate.
We got Trey Luthor up in here.
It is worth it to promote the pod, ladies and gentlemen. I am okay with the memes, all right?
Oh my gosh.
Let's run it. So there's still 22 in here. So either they didn't catch our drift or they're all right with it. So I say we run it.
Okay. So, man, this movie was great. If you missed our rankings of it last week, go check them out because this movie was phenomenal. Starting off, I love how this movie opens because we get almost a Star Wars-like crawl. It's not exactly like Star Wars, but it's similar. And you basically are caught up on the life of Superman within a matter of like a minute. And it's awesome. You know what happened 30 years ago, what happened 3 years ago, because he's been Superman for 3 years as of this moment when we're starting the film. 30 years ago, he came to Earth. 3 years ago, he became Superman. 30 minutes ago, he started, I think there was a fight going on in Metropolis. 3 minutes ago, he lost his first ever fight. And then now is where we pick up. And it's sick.
I loved it. It was a beautiful segue into the movie. I wasn't ready for it. It's not what I was expecting the opening to be, but I really loved it for what they did. I thought it was great.
Absolutely. Like, I think something that I can appreciate a lot about this film is about the first 30 minutes of this film is all we saw in the trailer minus a couple scenes.
Yep.
Like, this movie did a really good job of not spoiling the main story.
Very much.
And
they did very good on it, yeah.
Go ahead.
It was, again, like you said, the first 30 minutes, it really felt like they did not spoil anything. There was nothing in the trailers, really, in my opinion, that gave away the overarching plot of the story, right? We didn't know everything. I think it was great.
Yeah, and also, because, like we mentioned, Superman lost his first fight. So, a big gripe with Superman in the comics and in movies and stuff is always that Superman is too powerful. And it's like, nobody can really beat Superman. So, Superman loses his first fight to the Hammer of Bravia. And I'm not going to lie, I think it's so refreshing to see that Superman actually has vulnerabilities. I know James Gunn talked about this a lot. He was like, I want Superman to actually be able to be beaten, which I think is important. There shouldn't be one character who can't be beaten in an entire universe, and that's just how it's always going to be. It makes it so unpredictable that I think it was phenomenal that they went with this route.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. So we didn't have a perfect breakdown of what we wanted to talk about of each specific thing, but what I kind of wanted to bring up, seeing, so this is kind of deeper in the movie, but seeing him actually have his reactions to kryptonite was, dude, I freaking loved it. That was insane. They executed it so good.
I feel like Lex Luthor, because I mentioned this last week, Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor that just killed it, and the character in this movie, the way that they portray Lex is, he really is a genius, because that scene where he is exposed to the kryptonite, this is a little bit later in the film, because basically the whole reason he's in this position to be exposed to kryptonite is Lex Luthor has stolen crypto. And Superman has one of the best lines in the entire film that really embodies who he is as a character, because Lois is talking to him and she's like, why are you going out there? Like, it's just a dog. And he's like, yeah, and not even a good one, but he's probably out there scared and he's alone. And that embodies Superman to a T. Like, him just being so selfless. That's right. And he just, oh my gosh. But so he's going to find crypto. He ends up finding this pocket dimension where, well, he's actually taken to this pocket dimension by Lex because the government has now decided that he's a threat to society. Reason being is because we got to backtrack a little bit, because Superman in the Fortress of Solitude, he has this message, and this message was sent with him as a baby by his parents, Jor-El, and I forget his mom's name every single time, but his parents sent this message, and this message gets destroyed halfway through the message. And so he's only ever heard the first part. And basically it's just talking about going out there and saving humanity, being a good man, and just along those lines. So he's only ever heard the first part. Well, Lex Luthor and the engineer actually go to the Fortress of Solitude, and they get inside. And we find out later in the film that this is because Lex Luthor has got a strand of Superman's DNA, and that's how he can walk into the Fortress of Solitude. So he goes in, and they extract this message, and the engineer says that she can...
Technically, he had his clone with him. That's how they were able to do it. But the strand...
They had Ultraman there at the time?
Yeah, he was just in a suit. You couldn't see him.
That is right.
Yeah.
That is right.
Yeah.
So, good call. Good call. I didn't remember Ultraman being...
Yeah. He was just, you didn't know who he was yet because they hadn't revealed it. But he got the strand of his hair from a fight, and that's how he created Ultraman, so...
Yeah. So then they go in, and the engineer basically extracts this message. She can reform the message and basically fix it. So they get this message and they release it to the entire public. And it talks about Superman basically ruling the world, having a harem of wives, and basically just dominating. And anybody who gets in his way, he get rid of. So the whole world begins to turn on him. And this was Lex's entire plan. We find out it's because Lex is trying, later in the film, Lex is basically trying to start a war over in Baravia because he wants part of this country for his own. He's going to name it like Luthor, New Luthoria or something like that.
Something like that. Before we keep going on the story, I have a question about some of that stuff. So we know that Lex had bad intentions, correct? We know what his intentions were with all of that. How did you feel about them genuinely making Superman's parents evil? Like, how did you feel about that? Because that whole stuff, that was real. He didn't fake any of that out of the story, which I think is crazy.
It is kind of insane. Mm-hmm. There's part of me that almost feels like it's not true. part of me almost feels like it's not true. It could be. I know James Gunn has hinted at it, but, I feel like this is kind of setting up a story for the future. They're going to eventually come out. He'll find out that his parents are good. Maybe not. Maybe they are evil, and that's just went because it's a great story point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very fresh take, and I did enjoy it.
I agree too. I think the thing for me is like when I was watching it, and in the beginning of the movie, Superman was hurt, and his bots were fixing him, and they pretty much, he said it soothed Superman to play him the clip of his parents, and it showed the whole thing, that clip, that message that they left, and that was what you were saying, where it cuts off. Well, then at the end of the movie, after we found that his parents were evil and all this stuff, they do the same thing, and they say, would you like us to play the clip of your parents? And they actually show his Earth parents instead, which everybody in the theater loved. Everybody was clapping. Everybody was cheering. But my thing was like, I wasn't expecting that because the entire time I thought Lex made up the story. I thought it was fake. I thought he faked the clip. But when that happened, I was like, wow, they really went the route of his parents are evil. That's crazy. But I think it works. Unless, again, James Gunn is planning far ahead and he's going to make a super move. 26 in the chat. You guys are incredible.
My goodness. But, yeah. I do think that it sets up a lot of interesting dynamics in the future for him as a character, and especially if they end up doing anything with any type of Kryptonian later on. Yeah. But yeah, so Superman is now turned on by the entire government. And I think it's really cool because we got introduced to Rick Flag in this movie, who's played by Frank Grillo, who was also in the MCU, who played Crossbones in The Winter Soldier. But yeah, so basically the government turns on him. They capture him. They take him to this pocket dimension, and he gets put into this chamber with Metamorpho. And Metamorpho is sick in this film, played by Anthony Carrigan, who Trey recently just realized is in Gotham as Victor Zsasz.
Incredible character. I'm going to be honest, incredible character. In both of those. He played it well in both.
Oh. Dude, Victor Zsasz in Gotham is something else.
Yeah.
And in this scene, though, where Trey was talking about like the way that Superman's affected by kryptonite, is basically Metamorpho is being held there by Lex, and they have his son, and he basically has to do whatever they say because they're gonna kill his son if he doesn't do what they say. So they put him in there, and Metamorpho can change his body towards any type of element. So he changes, and his skin turns into kryptonite. And basically, this movie really plays on. I saw an amazing interview, and they were talking about the way that David Corenswell was acting during the scene, because kryptonite, the quote, yeah, it can kill him, but when you're further away from it, it's more like you're weak, but it almost simulates a sickness, and that's the way he was playing it. He got really sick. You see him be really vulnerable, and I thought that scene was phenomenal.
His face was swelling.
Obviously, and obviously that's not how that scene will end, but my goodness, yeah, the way that they had kryptonite in this film, do we have to talk about the most evil act of all in this film as well? Bro.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think you're aiming to the end of that scene, correct? When they escaped? Before they escaped?
Before they escaped, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
No hesitation, dude. It was insane.
There is a moment in this film that solidifies Lex Luthor being evil. Not just a bad guy. This dude's evil. And
EVIL.
basically,
ELIS.
oh, don't, I'll start saying it. Stop.
LEX. That's sick. I like that.
We're making a jingle.
Yeah.
Oh man. So basically, while Superman is trapped here, Lex brings in a hostage who he is going to he's threatening to kill if Superman I forget his whole entire motive. He's just trying to torture Superman, right? He's not really trying to get him to talk. He's just more like, or was he trying to get him to talk?
I think he was. I don't remember what the motivation. I think he was truly trying to get him to talk, but
so this guy that Lex brings in is a guy, he owns like a corner like food like restaurant in Metropolis. And he knows Superman because Superman saved him a few times. He's given Superman some free food. He helps him. And Superman knows this guy on a first name basis. So basically, he starts questioning Superman and he's threatening this guy. He's basically playing Russian roulette. And basically, first time, rolls it. He fires. Nothing happens. But it's only on the second one, too. Only on the second attempt does Superman not answer what he wanted. And he rolls it up. And this civilian is killed right in front of Superman, who's literally going through some of the worst agony that he's felt because it's kryptonite. And he's emotionally suffering because the one thing that he does not want is for anybody to die. And Lex literally kills this man in front of Superman. It's so sad.
And there's no level of sadness from Lex. He just what was his next line? It was something like, "I'll be back tomorrow with somebody else to kill," or something like that. It was just insane.
Yeah, and he was like, maybe that reporter who you always talk to, and everyone thinks it's going to be Lois Lane, but he says Clark Kent.
Yep.
Oh man,
that was incredible. But and of course, right when it happened, I look over at Evan, and we're just like, but
like, dude, that whole scene was insane.
Dude, insane. Absolutely insane. But it really brought home, like, I mean, of course, nobody wants to see anybody die, but it's also a movie, and I feel like they did it good. They really hit it home what it was supposed to do. It really showed the evilness in Lex, and I thought they mastered it. It was great.
I'm pretty sure, too, of humans, that was the only human death in the entire movie.
Really?
Because the only other thing that dies is that big creature that they put in order to distract Superman while they were going into the Fortress of Solitude.
Yep.
Honestly, I was sad when that thing died, to be honest.
Yeah. I couldn't believe how big it got. It was insane.
And Superman was upset too. But that scene was sick because that was when we got introduced to the Justice Gang.
It's true. It was, yeah. The greatest haircut in cinema history for the Green Lantern. Come on. Greatest haircut of all time. Chat. Evan is going to get the haircut. We're going to pop it up on screen. Evan said he was going to get the bowl cut. I mean, so either we'll call him Evan Lantern. Green.
I wonder what the shortest run for a podcast is. And I wonder if we can beat it.
That's really what, I don't know, bro. I think chat would love Evan with the bowl cut. You'd have to dye it blonde though, because you're not quite as blonde. So Evan having the bowl cut would be, like my hat, that blonde, like that gold.
I don't want my hair to ever be. I don't want my hair to ever be compared to your hat again.
We can give
again. Yeah, no. Anyways, back to the Justice Gang. So, in this film, they're already established as having a relationship with Superman. They already know each other. And it is Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, it is Mr. Terrific, and it is Hawk Girl. What was your opinion of the Justice Gang?
I thought they were pretty cool. Again, I don't remember them being in the trailer. And so that's why last week I wasn't going to talk about... who was the second one?
Mr. Terrific.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific. I wasn't going to talk about him because I didn't... I thought it was a surprise. So for me, I was surprised to see them because I totally just blanked out that they were in the trailer. So, but I was surprised. I was excited. I was happy. I thought it was great. Some of the scenes we got with them were pretty incredible. They were terrific, if you will. Dude, Mr. Terrific was probably the highlight of the three for me. But also, too, what'd you say his name was? Guy?
Yeah, Guy Gardner.
Dude, I was not ready for the fight scenes in the end when he was hitting him and it was throwing up the middle finger. It was kind of funny. I'm going to be honest. That was the James Gunn humor that we got.
Yeah, Guy Gardner is definitely... He's definitely that type of guy.
Yeah.
But...
I think they picked a phenomenal actor. I think he played it very well.
Oh, Nathan Fillion's great.
Yeah, yeah. He played it very well. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific was literally... he stole every scene he was in. He was great. Yeah. Guy Gardner was hilarious, especially when they started talking about the name for the Justice Gang and all that other stuff. And I will say, though, Hawk Girl was cool, but we unfortunately didn't see a ton of her. She was very underutilized, but we did see the scene, though, where she did... the one leader of Baravia who's trying to start this, or who's working with Lex Luthor, he goes and gets him and is flying through the sky with him, and he's basically oh, put me down and stuff. And he's like, oh, you won't do this. You're just like Superman and stuff. And she's like, I'm not just like Superman. And she kills this.
Dropped it.
There's two deaths. Two deaths.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so she kills.
Now another spoiler that, again, if you don't want any crazy spoilers, you shouldn't be here. But that's besides the point. There was a cool scene in the movie where it shows a TV in a night show, but all it was the host just by himself. I still don't understand the scene. Come on, chat.
Is Champ there?
That answer
Champ.
That question will be answered this Sunday night. Yeah. So John Cena was in the film. I thought it was great. Everybody in the theater went crazy. I looked over at Evan, said, I don't get it. I don't see anything. Insert meme here. But yeah, it was cool.
He was one of 3 cameos. There was John Cena as Peacemaker. There was Christopher Reeve's son, who was a reporter very briefly in the film. And then the very end, when we get the teaser for the next DCU film, which is Supergirl. Supergirl was in this film for a scene.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I have not seen Peacemaker. I've heard the show is very good. Haven't seen it. So wait, how's that work? Is that canon? Did Superman reset?
Peacemaker
everything?
Is canon.
So even the first season.
I believe. I think my thing about it is, I think that this season may actually kind of reset it because there's different timelines with it. But James Gunn made Peacemaker, so it makes sense why it's canon.
That's fair. Do you think that introduction with him in this movie was their way of saying, oh, by the way, this is canon, even though we told you Superman's the beginning? Do you think that's what that was?
I believe so.
Okay. I need to watch Peacemaker.
Yeah. I will say the scene with Supergirl at the end was great, too, because you find out that Krypto is not Clark's dog. It's Kara's. It's Supergirl's dog. And Clark was just dog sitting, which I've seen people talk about it now. And they're like, man, now we know the real reason why Clark went to go get this dog. He's like, because you don't want to see the world when Supergirl comes back and her dog is gone. But she's basically a party girl. She goes and she gets drunk on other planets with red suns, not yellow suns. And so she's been gone. She's basically mourning the loss because Krypton was destroyed. And she goes off-world a lot. Now, I did see that it is confirmed that she will be younger than Superman. Normally she's older, but she will be younger than Superman in this film.
Is she the age that she is in real life, the actress? Because I think she's 24.
I don't know, to be honest.
So I wonder. Okay.
24.
Yeah.
I'm about to be 24.
Hey, look, I don't blame you for what I know what you're thinking. I don't blame you. I can't. There's no hate there, bro.
Millie. We'll think about it. Anyway, no.
But your thoughts, yeah.
But so Supergirl got teased, and basically it was pretty cool because it's very different than Marvel. Marvel normally saves setting up their next film for post-credit scenes. This was done at the very end of the movie. Like, it is, she comes to the Fortress of Solitude after Clark is looking at the new images of his mom and dad, which is Mom, Pa Kent. And so he's watching this, and all of a sudden she busts through a wall, and she's like, "Move the door." And it's like, why'd you do that? And then she comes, and Crypto shows up. You basically find out why Crypto is the way that he is, because he has her as an owner. And yeah, so it's a cool scene. It's a great setup for the next movie, and it really forces you to actually stay in your seat because most people will skip out on post-credit scenes.
That's fair. Majority of the people in our theater, and we saw it in IMAX, so we got the most people in the theater of any of the auditoriums, and it really felt like over half the people were gone before the post-credit scenes, and there was 2 of them. And honestly, I believe there were people that left after the first one, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was. Didn't even stay for the second one. So, and here's the thing: we're at a point where we've seen so many Marvel movies together and stuff, to where any movie we see now, we stay for the entirety of the credits because we don't know what's coming. Honestly, I think one of my biggest gripes with the movie, and again, we gave our scores last week. If you didn't know, mine was a 9.0. I don't remember what Evan's was. I think it was 9.2.
Yeah, mine was 9.2.
Yeah, so again, one of the only gripes I have with the movie was that I felt like the post-credit scenes were a little weak. But James Gunn did discuss this. It was on a podcast the other day, and it was something to the effect of, we don't want the post-credit scenes to be something you have to watch for the next thing. And I kind of get it, but at the same time, I love, like with Marvel, when we get those insane, awesome post-credit scenes. So for me, they weren't my favorite, but
I agree. They were cool and they fit for the movie. They didn't set anything up other than, so yeah. I was not massive on them. I will say though, some other things before we kind of wrap up. I do think the action in this movie was really good. Like the scene, especially like one of the final fight scenes when he's fighting all those Raptor Lex bots and stuff. When he is using his heat vision, like in a huge circle, just around and around and around, that was sick, bro.
Yeah.
And it was also sick seeing that Ultraman was really the clone, which we talked about earlier. It was the clone of Superman. It was Lex's failed attempt of cloning him, and the big reason is he basically got human compassion. He forgot kindness. He forgot empathy. Like this, it can fight just as well as Superman. And Lex is a genius because Lex is literally doing all these counter moves throughout the movie, like telling him how to fight. But he's lacking that human compassion. And so it was cool to find out that, like, oh yeah, this is basically a clone, which could end up turning out to be Bizarro in the future.
Yeah. Now, I have a few thoughts. Number one, yes, the action was incredible. I thought it was great. This film really felt like a comic book movie to me. I got the comic book feel. The colors were great. The comic accurate suit for Superman was incredible. I loved his look. I thought it was phenomenal. We didn't get as much Clark Kent as I wanted, but at the same time, I feel like we got enough. If that makes sense, what I'm trying to say there. I was going to say one other thing. We discussed this on our way out of the theater when we were doing the one-word review for Popcorn and Pixels. So when we were doing that, we were discussing how cool it would have been if Henry Cavill would have ended up being the one that was the clone the whole time. That would have been wild. If they would have, like, dude, if James Gunn would have done that, everybody would have said he had some balls for doing that, bro. Like, seriously. Like, that would have been crazy.
Yeah. Like, I get why he didn't, because obviously this is David's first movie. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you don't want to do that the first time. But it still would have been insane. Oh, I think other than that, the other couple highlights that I thought, I loved Crypto. I thought Crypto was great. And I was not upset about anything that this dog did in the film. The fight scenes that he had were cool. It actually made me really sad in the scene where Lex and the engineer come to the Fort Solitude with Ultraman, because like they put like a huge like nanobot muzzle on Crypto, but you could tell it's hurting him, and it really upset me.
Yeah.
So, but Crypto was phenomenal. And other than that, Lois Lane, Rachel Brosnahan did a phenomenal job. I love that they already have an established romance between Clark and her, and you can just tell their chemistry at work. They're playing like, oh yeah, we don't like. Listen, you need to do better. But like outside of that, it's like, oh yeah, they really like each other, and it's cool. Also, and I love that they did a throwback to the scene from Christopher Reeve's Superman with him and Lois getting interviewed. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Also, I really loved that it wasn't an origin story. Again, like we discussed in the opening crawl, it told us where we were in the story, and I really liked that. But also, did you like kind of the way that they pretty much said, yes, we can't, they kind of joked around about his glasses, and I really liked that. But I also loved how they explained it in a very good way about like, well, it's some Kryptonian technology that makes it to where his face looks different. I thought that was really interesting.
And it's comic accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the lore in this movie is insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. That scene was great. I love that it was Guy Gardner, the one who explained it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, his character was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
And how about Jimmy Olsen basically being the one that helped take down Lex Luthor, because his girlfriend, Lex's girlfriend, Jimmy's side piece, is over here taking selfies and stuff throughout the film, but she's really taking pictures of Lex's plans. So that's how Lex goes down, because Jimmy Olsen and his side piece. That's insane.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. The way that he got taken down was crazy. I also found it crazy that in his pocket universe, he ended up putting, 2 different girls in there? He just imprisoned girls that made him mad. You have all these reasons for the reasons that he had a lot of these people in there, and then just 2 girls that he thought were annoying. That's just crazy.
The amount of people that were in that pocket universe, too, was insane.
Oh, yeah. And the colors in there were cool. I loved it. The portal.
Oh, it was phenomenal CGI.
The thing about the portals, I feel like they knocked it out of the park for what they were trying to do. It, like, at first, just from the outside, it looks like this thrown together crappy, horrible portal. But, like, at the same time, it makes sense because it kind of makes it seem more like Lex used all of his money to build the best that he could. And so it wasn't just this crazy out-of-world thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great.
And also, one other scene in this movie, it probably might be the last thing that I have to say. I thought it was so cool how in this movie, like, you know, there's two different things going on. You have, like, the crisis back in Metropolis where this, like, black hole is tearing apart Metropolis. But then you have Baravia and the other country that is going to war, and, like, these kids are waiting for Superman to show up, and it's like, where is Superman? Where's Superman? And they're chanting for him. And Superman ends up helping Mr. Terrific in Metropolis. But then you have Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, and Metamorpho, who are all helping out over in the other country. And he's like, sorry, kid, Superman couldn't make it, but looks like you got an upgrade. Like that, the fact that they're all just working together, they're in different parts of the world, solving different conflicts. I thought it was just good. Like this whole movie just flowed so, and like really well written and thought out.
Yeah. I don't have much to add, bro. I mean, I think we knocked our review out of the park. I think they knocked the movie out of the park. I really believe that James Gunn's vision for the DCU, I'm a lot more hopeful now than I was at the beginning. Because obviously there was the James Gunn beef with the Den of Nerds on Twitter and stuff like that. I was not so hot on it at first, but dude, he knocked it out of the park. Incredible movie, incredible start. All I want James Gunn to really do better in the future is just give us more Batman. That's all I want.
I second that motion.
That's all I want. And that's the thing at this point. I'm okay with having two different Batman, having Pattinson and his world and the Batman, and then having James Gunn's as well. That's what I want. I love it. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. DC is on the right track.
Absolutely agree, 100%.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that, bro? That was a good one.
I enjoyed it. I thought we did pretty good. We allotted enough time. We talk a lot, but
we do.
It was good. It was good. I think that we allotted for a good enough time thing.
We do. We did. And also, I just want to say, for the second pod, dude, we've kept about 25 viewers for a good hour. So I appreciate you guys all being here. We appreciate you being part of the live. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Click that button. And then also Evan's channel. His channel's featured on my channel, so you can scroll all the way down to the bottom of my page and find his channel. Of course, sub to him. Yeah, hit that like button. We appreciate you guys. Have you got anything to add?
Like I mentioned earlier, for those who were not here, no TikTok live stream this week on Wednesday or Friday. I'll be out of town. Next time that will be in any live capacity, it will be on the pod. It'll be episode 3, and it'll be our last words before the Fantastic Four is seen by us, even though the movie will already be out.
The movie will already be out. That's all right, though. But thank you guys for tuning in, man. We appreciate it. Sub to our channels. We will see you guys in the next one. Watch out for the rest of our content that we're going to be having out all week. So I will see you guys in the next one. See you guys next week, chat.
See ya.